Today we're talking to Julie Carson, City Commissioner of Wilton Manors. How are you, Julie?
I'm wonderful. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for talking with us today, or taking some time out of your busy schedule to talk to us today. Now, my first question is, I know that you were originally filed paperwork to run again for your current city commissioner seat. What made you decide to change your mind and run for mayor of Wilton Manors?
As you're probably aware,
Yes.
Mayor Flippin and I had a very special relationship. We shared a vision for the city. We shared a vision for responsible growth and development. We shared the values of family and children being included in the fabric of our community. So I was very excited about continuing service as a city commissioner because I knew that I would have the opportunity to work alongside of Justin and finalize some of our goals.
Yes.
On his death, and after a lot of thought and prayer, it seemed the best thing for me to do was to run for mayor and continue some of his visions into the future. And also, I think I'm uniquely able to move Wilton Manors into the future with as little disruption as possible.
Absolutely, absolutely. If your campaign had a signature issue, what would that be?
A signature
issue. If your campaign had a specific issue that you were running on based on the vision that you had with former Mayor Flippin, may he rest in peace. If your campaign had a signature issue, what would that be?
The signature issue for me, and I will put on either side of that signature issue, recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic, because that is a very, very important matter that we will have to deal with, and we are dealing with now. Economic development and tourism in our community. We have for a long time battled being able to expand our growth and our economic diversity in the city. We have 3 times the amount of retail space as necessary, that's per person, as necessary to create a vital economy, which is one of the reasons why we do have retail stores and establishments and bars that go out of business. So I believe in one of the things that I think is critically important. We have in our budget funds for an economic development director. This has been long in the works and is very, very needed, and particularly now as we face these issues with business closures and so forth. But the city currently has frozen all new positions.
Okay.
My position is that let's freeze all new positions because we had to come up with roughly $700,000 in deficits. We had to save that money in our budget and work the numbers. Let's freeze the other positions, but let's keep this position in the budget because I think it's going to be critical to our recovery.
Of course, absolutely. I want to ask you something about actually what we're experiencing now. I know there's a lot of unrest. There's a lot of protests as a result of obviously what's in the news right now. What are your thoughts on that?
Obviously it is a tragic event. The community of City of Wilton Manors, all of us send our thoughts and prayers to the Floyd family. I believe, and I said this recently, we have to start cleaning our house out in Wilton Manors.
Yes.
We need to begin, not that we have it, we have some very important values, but we have some work to do. One of the things that activist Michael Rayner suggested in an email recently was to remove Chief Perez's name from the dedication plaque at City Hall. And if you remember, Chief Perez was a former chief of police before Chief O'Connell, and he made a host of racist comments while he was working for the city.
Yes.
He was terminated / resigned after that. And I think that's one thing that we can do to symbolically stand with the community. Obviously, the other thing is to make sure that our policing procedures are in order, that we do not allow the chokehold. We do not allow any sort of neck constraint that would or could cause death. And certainly that we don't do any of this if there's no reason to and the person is on the ground cuffed.
Absolutely. Okay, so now final question. I know you're really busy, and I don't want to keep you hostage all day. But there's definitely been what I think is a renewed interest in politics, from the very top local government all the way up to the presidency of the United States. For all of our viewers who aren't familiar with you, what would you like our viewers to take away from this conversation when they're thinking about who they're about to elect as the next mayor?
I've often said what Marian Wright Edelman said. I say this in my big video interview. Public service is the rent we pay for living. And I consider myself a public servant. I don't consider myself a politician. So to those people, and I have nurtured many young people or younger people and older people into the arms of public service. What I think is critically important first is that we understand what an honorable and particularly precious job it is to serve the public and have the public trust. My recommendations from day one to anyone in any community that wants to get active is start at the local level, because that's where I believe it happens. Yes. But join a committee, join a board, show up to Breakfast with Santa Claus or Easter Bunny rides or bingo or any event, city commission meetings. Yes. Be active, be involved. I always believe, and we see this in Commissioner Rowley, he served on the Budget Review Advisory Board before he was elected. I served on a board before I was elected. Most people begin their service by beginning service before election. Yes. So I encourage everyone to be involved and to get excited. But there are many ways to care for our community and be a stakeholder without holding office.
Well, I thank you very much, Commissioner Carson, for sitting down and taking a few minutes to just communicate with us. We wish you the very best of luck. And once again, thank you for your service to our community. We hope to see you again very, very soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and I appreciate the opportunity to be with you.